Across the United States, historic roads are being lost through demolition, neglect, and poor management. This can be due to policy, external pressures, and ignorance. These losses can be swift and devastating, or slow and incremental, hardly noticed until it's too late. It is important to recognize and preserve historic roads. One need only consider the lost resources of earlier transportation eras now lamented: canals, railroad stations, and the Pony Express route. We have already lost long stretches of Route 66 and segments of the historic Columbia River Highway, losses lamented as much by historic preservationists as travel promoters, now seeing the value of these resources for tourism marketing. While it is fair to say that no one organization or group is responsible for these losses, it's also fair to say that the basic idea of a historic road, much less the preservation of historic roads, is not well understood in the United States. In some instances, state transportation offices, historically charged with the safety and efficient movement of the traveling public, may not consider the historic aspects of a road during their planning process, or may even consider historic preservation an impediment to progress. The benefits of preserving and managing an historic road are significant and diverse. They may include opportunities for heritage tourism and economic development, improved safety and efficiency, restoration of historic structures and features, and the civic pride associated with a better and more comprehensive understanding of a community's transportation heritage. Increasingly, communities across the United States and beyond are beginning to recognize that their roads are historic. Historic freeways, transcontinental highways, parkways, farm-to-market roads, and traffic circles are being studied, inventoried, debated, and discussed in the newest movement in the historic preservation world. Our nation's historic roads, while appreciated and admired for the technology, craftsmanship, and beauty of another era, must also function as a part of the modern transportation network. While some historic roads present challenges in meeting modern safety expectations, many historic roads throughout the nation continue to provide reliable and safe transportation. The fact that so many historic roads are still in use is a testament to their good design and logical location. Montgomery County's rustic and exceptional rustic roads are preserved under the Rustic Roads program established in 1993, which provides a system for evaluating, protecting, and enhancing our scenic roadways. Rustic roads are historic, scenic, two-lane roads that wind their way through woodlands alongside historical sites and past farms. Exceptional rustic roads have such an unusual and pleasing character that preservation of the road in its current state is highly desirable. Exceptional rustic roads have special characteristics that would be lost if improved or widened. Rustic roads are historic and scenic roadways that reflect the agricultural character and rural origins of the county. In fact, they are integral to this county's agricultural and rural areas. Preserving rustic roads is an important way for us to transmit our past history to future generations. Here are some numbers that help us understand the size of Montgomery County's Rustic Roads program. Most of the 99 roads are located in or near the Ag Reserve in what we call the Up-County area. Many rustic roads are located near rivers and streams. The easiest and most direct way to preserve water quality and wildlife habitats near rustic roads is to minimize impervious surfaces, also known as paving, and tree and shrub removal. This is also the easiest and most direct way to preserve the rustic nature of rustic roads. Because these roads frequently lay next to streams and other sensitive wildlife habitats, they must not be widened. The act of widening these roads not only changes the essence of the road, but also increases the impact of stormwater runoff pollution and destroys environmentally important roadside trees and shrubs. Trees improve water quality by filtering sediment and pollutants from soil runoff and providing shade to keep water and roads cool. They combat erosion by stabilizing banks and regulating stream flow, and they offer habitats to many plant and wildlife species. Any activities that involve widening the pavement and removing trees and shrubs should be avoided on rustic and exceptional rustic roads. Rustic roads still face challenges from incremental widening, loss of roadside habitat, and ongoing development sprawl. Yet in 20 years, the Rustic Roads program has yielded many benefits. Many rustic roads have 1- and 2-lane bridges that cross the rivers and streams of Montgomery County. Some of these historic and unique bridges have already been lost. Those that have survived continue to perform their basic function and preserve the rustic nature of the rustic roads that pass over them. Without consistent protection, many existing scenic bridges will be lost to modern replacements that are wide, strong, efficient, but lacking in character. In 2012, the Rustic Roads Advisory Committee and Montgomery County Department of Transportation created a special street sign with a brown background to distinguish rustic roads from the green road signs we usually see. Eventually, all rustic roads will be easily identifiable. Not only does this help travelers, but it also aids the many farm businesses aiming to attract day visitors who seek fresh local food and a connection with farming and open spaces. The recent interest in agritourism, common in countries like Italy, offer a way to enrich and extend the experience of visiting local farms. One of the oldest roads in the county, West Old Baltimore Road, was certified and improved in 1793, though it was already in use by 1747 when the town of Barnesville was established. Barnesville lies today on land first surveyed for Jeremiah Hayes in 1749. Hayes served in the Revolutionary Army militia before his death in 1783. Jeremiah's son, Abraham Simmons Hayes, opened one of the first schools in the area in 1819. Use of this road eventually decreased when the C&O Canal and railroads changed market patterns. West Old Baltimore Road contains some of the last sections of unpaved road in the county. The road goes through 10 Mile Creek, which is easily forded most of the time. The road travels through forests and farm fields with long views towards Sugarloaf Mountain. An African American roadside community lived and worked on this historic site located on Brookville Road from emancipation well into the 20th century. Their culture and traditions heavily influenced those of surrounding communities, and their story is deeply woven into Montgomery County's rich history. At the center of this site is Oakley Cabin, which was inhabited until 1976 and now serves as a living history museum. Martinsburg Road is the only road with a section designated in the master plan for historic preservation, with a 1-mile section that is one of the few surviving one-lane paved roads in Maryland. The road was established in 1838 following a petition of local farmers and businessmen for access to local mills and to the C&O Canal. Soon afterward, stone walls were built on both sides of the road according to custom. The road was named for the black community established in around 1866, located at the intersection with White's Ferry Road, which is also a rustic road. In 1931, a 1-mile stretch of Martinsburg Road was paved with concrete 9 feet across, which is typical of the first roads paved for automobile use. Known as politicians' pig paths, these roads nearly always led to the gate of a person with political influence and ended there. At the end of Elton Farm Road lies the Howard family African American Heritage Trail. When the trail opens this year, it will bring visitors into the world of George and Harriet Howard, prominent black citizens of Maryland. George Howard was born into slavery, and in 1851, at the age of 37, purchased his own freedom. Then, in 1853, he purchased the freedom of his wife. 7 years later, together, they bought the freedom of their 4 children. In 1862, in the midst of the Civil War, George and Harriet purchased the old 1790 plantation house Locust Villa, which is not the house in this picture, along with 289 acres of land from Harriet's previous owners. Harriet and George now owned the very land on which she had been enslaved and moved into her former enslaver's home and made it their own. This is a unique story in our country for that time. Rustic roads take you to some very interesting places in Montgomery County. Now let's sit back and enjoy more photos of our beautiful rustic roads. Montgomery County's Rustic Roads program is overseen by the Rustic Roads Advisory Committee, the Montgomery County Department of Transportation, the Department of Permitting Services, and the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. The advisory committee is comprised of 7 volunteer citizen members. Members review and comment upon roadway classifications, policies, regulations, and promote public awareness of the Rustic Roads program. There is poetry in Rustic Roads, a sense of peace in an often clamorous world, and a deeply spiritual connection to our history on the land. This is Barbara Hoover, and I hope that this presentation will inspire you to visit a rustic road in Montgomery County.